Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Pro Soccer Talk Live, a watch-along for the Netherlands against the USA in the last 16 of the World Cup. My goodness, get your questions coming in. What a momentous day this is for the US national team, this young side, the youngest side left in the World Cup. Of course, they're not favoured against the Netherlands. The Netherlands have got some great players throughout the spine of their team, but as we're seeing, Weston McKennie close his eyes as he sings the national anthem, and the whole US team looking pretty serious, focused on the job. This is a pretty emotional moment, I think, for anyone who's followed US soccer closely. You see Greg Berhalter and his staff with their hand on their heart, singing the national anthem loud and proud. This is a huge moment for US soccer fans, and it's a pleasure to join you today. So send me your questions, get them coming in. We're going to talk about the team news, watch this game together. I know it's early in the States today. What's it? Just before 10 a.m. Eastern time as we kick off very, very soon indeed. But so excited to watch this young team over this tournament and just excited to see what they can produce. So let me know where you're watching from in the States, across the world. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, this is great. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, I'm Joe Prince-Wright, the lead soccer writer and editor for NBC Sports' Pro Soccer Talk. And let's get on to some of the team news. Obviously, big team news for the USA. We'll start there first. It is interesting. Pulisic has recovered, so he's starting out on the left. Walker Zimmerman's come in for Cameron Carter-Vickers at centre-back. And then the big news really is Jesus Ferreira has come in, hasn't played a single second at the World Cup so far, and he is starting up top in the World Cup, which is a huge moment. Josh Sargent obviously struggling with injury. We've had Haji Wright play up there. But yeah, this is now, this is go time for Jesus Ferreira. So Olivia's getting involved, just saying USA. We've got Edwin joining us 7 a.m. here in the Pacific region. Micro the Microwave in California. We've got a lot of people in the house. And just to let you know, you can watch along with me, of course, get your questions coming in real time. I'll answer anything you want in football and in life. Let's get philosophical. But also, to watch the game live, you can pull up a stream in Spanish in the USA on Peacock and on Telemundo. So pull up that stream, mute that, of course, because you want to listen to me. And then also in English in the USA, you can watch on Fox as well and on their platform. So just to let you know, that's where you can actually watch the action. But here is a live watch along, and we'll discuss the game together. I think we'll have a lot of ups and a lot of downs, a lot of emotions here today. But who else we got? We got Tanner Shreve from Germany, Gavin from Virginia, USA. Michael Wyden just says, go USA. Jenna's in New York, Faris in Annandale, Lucas in Canada, Philippines. We got a lot of people in the house here, so thanks so much for joining me. This, as I said, this is a momentous occasion for the USA. If we look at the Dutch team news, it looks like pretty much full strength for them. Obviously, Cody Gakpo and Memphis Depay are up top. US team are in a huddle here before kickoff, and this is interesting. This is the biggest test of the World Cup so far. The England game was weird, right? They dominated that game. Seemed like England were playing for a draw. But the Netherlands now, knockout situation. Pulisic is moving smoothly, I just want to report. So that's really, really good news for the USA as they're about to kick off for this massive game. Netherlands against the USA. Thanks so much for joining me. Sherry's in the USA. We've got Sam in Texas. Lulu's in Charlotte. D-Mac in the USA. Let's get your predictions coming in. We've got some Joshua Lee saying USA for the win. What's your score predictions here? I think it's going to be really tight. I predicted this is going to go to extra time and penalty kicks, so we could be all together on this watch along for quite a while. But you know, let's see what's going. Michael says conflicted, Dutch descent, born in USA. Can understand that there. I can understand that. We've got Boss Now TV saying go Netherlands. Schmatter saying USA going to win 2-1. D-Mac saying 1-0 USA. And we've got people in the house from Nepal. Teknath and in Kazakhstan, if I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. So the game is kicked off, by the way. USA, Netherlands, we are on a roll. We're going. Jay, simple message there. USA, let's go. Gavin as well is predicting a 2-1 win to the USA. Skipsters joining us from Vegas. We got Schmatter from Texas. Joanne just says, go USA. And yeah, this is fun. I feel so energized, even though it's been a crazy few days in the World Cup. The fact that the US are battling out against the Netherlands in the last 16, that's pretty incredible to me to see how far this young team has come in a relatively short period of time. So keep your questions coming in throughout this. We'll talk about the key battles. We'll talk about tactically how these teams shape up. As Sergino Dest cuts inside, plays it to the excellent Tyler Adams, the US skipper. What a tournament he's had. Back to Tim Ream. What a tournament he's had. Anyone who follows me on social media will know I love Tim Ream. He's been a great player for Fulham over the last few seasons. And my word, him and Anthony Robinson down that left side of the US defense have been superb so far. So decent possession for the US early on. Weston McKennie is advancing down the left, but the Dutch clear. For the USA have it back again. This is fun. This is really fun, guys. So send in your questions. I wonder how your nerves are doing, US fans, even Dutch fans out there. I feel like this is the sooner it's got towards kickoff, right? It went from being, the Dutch are going to win 65, 70% of the time to pretty much 50-50 now. I think even Louis van Gaal, the Dutch coach, seeing his comments, praising the US team so highly. Pretty big deal. So that's been fun to see, the kind of pendulum swing about who are the favorites in this game. When we talk about key battles, I think the importance there, as we see it down below, is Christian Pulisic. He's starting on the left wing. Obviously had that, a chance here for the US. Ball's lobbed into the box. The Dutch clear it. But it took back in towards Christian Pulisic. He's onside. And a great save by the Dutch goalkeeper. And the flag hasn't gone up yet. So it looks like Pulisic was indeed onside. So that is a massive chance for the US just 3 minutes into the game. Just as we were talking about Christian Pulisic and his importance, but Noppert with a fantastic low save to his left. Would love to see a replay of this because I thought Pulisic might be offside. What have we got here? As the ball drops, Dutch failed to clip. Pulisic is onside, 12 yards out. Ball comes to him, and Noppert with a great save down low. My word, I don't want to talk smack against Christian Pulisic, but you can see his face and his reaction on the big screen there. He knows he should have scored there. Unmarked, 12 yards out. The bounce just kind of went to the US when they hooked it back into the box. And the first big chance of the game for the USA went to Christian Pulisic. And I would have put my mortgage on Christian Pulisic putting that away, the kind of form he was in. So a big let-off for the Dutch early on. Let me know how you guys are feeling about that. As the camera pans to a slightly tentative-looking Louis van Gaal on the Dutch sidelines. He's been talking up the US ahead of this game, and he was nearly preparing his side to be 1-0 down early on. Huge, huge chance there for Christian Pulisic. Wow. Trying to catch my breath after that fast start as Pulisic is on the dribble here, but Frankie de Jong dispossesses him on the edge of the box. And now, for the first time, the Netherlands have the ball as Memphis Depay is trying to wriggle away, but that man Tyler Adams is there to clear the danger. You should really score there, Pulisic. If you're watching along with the screen, the stream on another screen, that is a massive, massive chance there. Wow. The US, I'm not sure if they get a better chance in this game. I hope they do, but we've got some predictions coming in here. We have DJ PYBK saying 3-0 to the USA. Pulisic hat-trick. Could have had his first one there. Mika-chan says Netherlands, let's go. And then we got some questions about where's the game being shown. Again, just to update you, in the USA, in Spanish, you can watch on our partners Telemundo and on Peacock. You can stream that game live. And if you want to watch in English in the USA, Fox is the place in their platforms to watch it. Another chance here for the USA, edge of the box. Tim Weyer's wriggling around. Sergino Dest, Ali Bling gets in the tackle. But what a start for the USA. Fantastic opportunity for Christian Pulisic early on. But wow, that was... I don't know if they're going to live to regret that, but the Dutch haven't really woken up and it's been all the USA early on. So, again, send your questions in. That's what I'm here for. This is a massive, massive day for the US and just soccer in the country overall. So, Andrea's coming in. Just me today. It is indeed Nick and Andy. They send their best. They're watching the game with their family and friends in the States. I think Andy's out in a watch party in Kansas City downtown. You'll see crazy sights from there. And Nick as well is watching with family. So just me today, but obviously my heart is in the US. My family are American. And I'm here in England, but go back and forth between the US and England in my role of NBC a lot. So as anyone who knows me knows, I've been living on and off in the US for pretty much close to the last 15 years. So you know who I'm rooting for today. Sorry, Netherlands fans out there, but I think it'd be an amazing win for the US if they can get through, and also an opportunity as well when you see the way the brackets opened up for them in this World Cup. Okay, Anthony Robinson's nearly got in down the left-hand side. Was it Denzel Dumfries coming in for well-timed tackle? So it's been all the USA so far. So this is going to be interesting. I expected him to be in this game, but I didn't expect him to play this well so far. So Christian Pulisic's going to whip in a corner. Let's see if he can deliver, because his corner kicks and free kicks have been off a little bit so far. But we've got Zimmerman, we've got Ream, some big guys there. But for the Dutch as well, some big guys as well with Van Dijk, Timber, Ake, Dumfries. Oh, good corner from Pulisic. Just evades Ream at the back stick, but much better delivery there. And what a great start to this game. My goodness. So get your questions coming in again. If you didn't hear it earlier, tell me where you're watching from, shout out wise, in the USA, elsewhere. And yes, the game has started. To recap, 8 minutes in, 0-0. But the USA has had the biggest chance so far. Okay, so I'd like to get some thoughts from you guys. We've had the score prediction, where everyone's watching from, as the US are on the attack again, and Tim Weah nearly got on a chance at the end of the back. It's just wave after wave of US attack now as Tyler Adams wins the ball back. So this is brilliant. But let me know in the comments, who is the most important player today? Who's going to make the difference, either for the Netherlands or the USA? Who is the key player? Because for the US, going forward, obviously, Pulisic is key. Weah's been key. Jesus Ferreira is starting his first minute of action here in the World Cup. And he hasn't played a single second in the group stage. So what a moment for him, with obviously Sargent being injured, Haji Wright. He hasn't really done it so far. But a bit of a loose pass there from the US. Dali Blind's coming forward on the left. Plays it to Memphis Depay. He's coming in down the left, cutting inside. He's in the penalty box. Jinks inside. Bobbles it, shanks it, and Tyler Adams half clears it for the US. But big opportunity there for the Netherlands as they win the ball back and goes back to Virgil van Dijk. But yeah, just a little bit of an opportunity there to see what the US is made of. And defensively, they held up. Andrea says, can you draw in this game? You cannot draw in this game, obviously. Knockout round situation now. So, Andrea, just to map it out, if it's a level after 90 minutes, we're going to extra time, 30-minute period. And if it's level after that, then we're going to penalty kicks, which, speaking as an Englishman, anybody who's watching, who's from England knows this pain. I think pretty much since I was born, every single major tournament, apart from one or two, England have exited on penalty kicks. So it's a point of contention with me. I've got some flashbacks I'm having right now to some really bad moments for England on penalty kicks. But this is going to be intense today. The Dutch are keeping the ball now, spraying it out to Gakpo in the middle. He's going wide to Dumfries, who's got a crossing opportunity, whips it in, edge of the box, and it's a goal for the Netherlands. That is an incredible team move. And Memphis Depay sweeps home. And the first real attack for the Dutch during the game. They lead the USA 1-0. They cut to a bloke wearing a very dapper Netherlands suit in the crowd there, suit and tie situation. But that was absolute quality there from the Dutch team. Built it up in the middle. Klaassen to Memphis. Then to Gakpo, he drops deep, plays it wide to Dumfries. You've seen a replay of the goal. And Dumfries, who thinks he's going to whip it to 6-yard box, cuts it back perfectly in the edge of the box. No one is tracking Memphis Depay. I've watched it there. Weston McKennie seems to be the person who has lost him. Is it McKennie or Adams? I'm just seeing a replay here for the first time. Somebody lost him in the US midfield. And he swept it home majestically. The Dutch fans are going crazy. The US fans, obviously, not happy. But someone said it in the comments there. Relax, there's a lot of time yet. But 10 minutes into this game, Netherlands won, USA 0. Not the start that we wanted, but Memphis Depay, his quality is obviously shown, and a fantastic finish there. His first goal in the tournament. He's been struggling with injuries, didn't play in the group stage a lot. But for the Dutch, what a dream start for them. For the US, oh man, that's a rough start. But Netherlands quality there, just really, really showing. And Memphis Depay, that's his, I cannot believe that stat. 44th goal for the Netherlands. He's still relatively young, so what a great career and what a huge player he is for the Dutch. Wow. Okay, USA, time to take a breather, relax, and just kind of chill. But wow, what a start to this game. Thanks so much for joining. Let us know where in the world you're watching from for this watch along. Again, I'm Joe Prince-Wright, the editor and lead soccer writer at NBC Sports. Pleasure to be joining you today. Send in your questions, as the prompt is telling you on the bottom of the screen. Anything you want to ask me during this game, send the questions in. I'm here to chat, go through this together. US fans, how are you feeling? Let's see. George there says USA doesn't have a chance against the Dutch. George, have you just said that now that they're 1-0 down and they're up against it? Or did you really think that before the game? I thought, as I said before, Dutch are probably 60-40 favourites to win this, but now obviously their odds have gone up massively. Michael Mars, let's be realistic. We need a goal for a shot. I mean, yeah, obviously need a goal now, Michael, but you're right. They had that big opportunity with Christian Pulisic that he missed early on, and how costly is that going to be? I hope it's not going to be costly. Pulisic's been excellent for the US over the last few years, but yeah, this is, and Michael points it out there again. USA has scored 2 goals in 3 games before this. Goal scoring has been a real big problem, not just in this World Cup, but they got a chance here. Pulisic in down the left, crossing it back. The Dutch half clear. Tim Weah's got it on the right side, looking to recycle. So Gino Dest gets it, but Frankie de Jong gets the ball back. And now the Dutch have got a counter going. Cody Gakpo against Tim Ream, 1-on-1 towards the edge of the penalty box. But Robinson gets back, slows him up a bit. What a great start to this game. Barely had a chance to catch my breath so far. The Dutch have it on the left. Got to get some water. And now they're just keeping the ball, but this is open. Much more open than I think we thought it would be. Wow, I need a breather. Neil, it's 1-0, sorry. 14 minutes in. The Dutch, great start for them, and Memphis Depay finish off that slick team move. But the US are in this. Pulisic is getting in all the time behind Denzel Dumfries on the left flank for the USA. Netherlands will win 100%. I'm destroyed. Okay, George's come back. I thought before this game, the Dutch have a good chance of winning the tournament. Yeah, I had them going pretty far as well. I think people are sleeping on the Dutch because they're a really good sort of team unit. And now that Memphis Depay is back, what we got here? Tyler Adams going down with an elbow to the face. It looked accidental from Denzel Dumfries. It was kind of in the run of play. He just put his arm out. It's okay. Free kick to the US. But yeah, the Dutch, I think people are sleeping on them. Obviously, Cody Gakpo was brilliant. Scored 3 in his first 3 World Cup games. Added another 25 million to his price tag. But overall, very good team. Very strong team. A good unit. I think they're kind of one of those teams, right? Individual-wise, through the spine, Van Dijk, you've got Frankie de Jong, you've got now Memphis Depay's back, very strong and some real star quality. But like the US, the kind of some of their parts is better. They're a really good team unit. So yeah, it's been a tough start as they win the ball back. A few sloppy touches from the US, so got to see him clean that up a little bit more. Okay, what we got here? We got some more questions coming in. Stephen Gallagher says now they can get more risky, go the USA. I mean, that's true. They're going to go for it now, right? For just maybe stay in the game until at least the hour mark. If the US is only down a goal with the hour, but the only issue with them during this tournament, right, is that they've kind of petered off and got tired in the second half of games, whether it be the game against England, the game against Wales, the game against Iran, where they just held on to get to the last 16. It's been a little bit rough for the US. So let's see if they can kind of do the opposite and kick on after going behind early. So, and wait, I'm just thinking, this is the first time they've gone behind in a tournament, right? So let's see a reaction from this US side. We haven't seen how they've reacted to this so far. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting, guys. So thanks so much for joining me for this very special watch along. Obviously, first US knockout game in 8 years. First game. Oh, Robinson's coming forward. He's in the box on his weaker right foot. Just didn't quite pick the right pass, and the Dutch have half cleared. But I'm not lying. This is a very open game. This is a very, very open game so far. So keep it coming as far as I'm concerned. This is going to keep us all very busy on this watch along, wherever you're watching from today. I see some more of your comments and questions coming in. Stamina's an issue, Michael's saying. Anthony Mackin says, this is America's problem. They don't have a genuine number 9 as a genuine golfer. Great comment, to be fair, because this is, again, I would almost go back to Clint Dempsey and Landon Donovan when they were around. Since then, Josie Altidore for a while kind of took that mantle, but they just haven't had a goal scorer, have they, for a long, long time. And as the Dutch come forward, Dally Blin's on the edge of the box and never really looked confident. Side foots it over, but a really good chance there for the US. For the Netherlands 20 minutes in, and the US look open on the counter. But to go back to your question, Anthony, and your point, when was the last great striker the US really had? I'm scratching my head here. At the moment, obviously, Jesus Ferreira, Josh Sargent, Haji Wright, they're the options, but I would rather see them play with a false 9. The fact that Brendan Aronson and Gio Reyna are sat on the bench boggles my mind a little bit. Obviously, Greg Berhalter has got his tactics, his philosophy that he stuck to, and you can't really argue with that so far, right? Getting out of that group was an achievement in itself. But the fact that, so Gino Dest is surging down the right, cuts it in, all good, and the Dutch have it with the goalkeeper, and Van Dijk's just saying, calm down, let's just chill, let's relax, all good so far. But I do wonder if having a false 9 up there and maybe playing Pulisic or Weah centrally is the answer for the US to unlock this attack, because they are creating chances, they are getting in dangerous positions, but they haven't got the finisher. And I think Weah and Pulisic, although Pulisic today missed that big chance, I think they are the most natural finishers among this US core. So if it does stay 1-0 up until half-time, are we going to see Reyna? Are we going to see Aronson? I probably would. Do that. So Michael Mars, Donovan was good. Winston says, I would have started Reyna. I'm with you there, Winston. And we've got, they don't need a number 9 because they have Pulisic and no star power. I concur. So Maxi saying, yeah, they don't have a forward. I think we all agree with that. And we got Alex Rivera says, love you, JPW. Love you too, Alex. Love all of you guys joining me. So wherever you're watching in the USA or anywhere in the world, thanks so much for joining us here at NBC. 20 minutes in, just about. Netherlands 1, USA 0. Rough start for the US. Had that great chance with Christian Pulisic. Couldn't finish it. And then straight up the other end, the Dutch had a great counter-attack and a lovely finish from Memphis Depay to put them ahead. So a reminder, in the USA, if you're watching, pull up in Spanish Telemundo or a Peacock stream to watch live with me. Obviously, mute that because you want to hear my pearls of wisdom, of course. And then we can get our questions going back and forward and get the banter going. And if you're watching in the US in English, you can pull up a stream with Fox Sports and on all their channels as well. So it's been a pretty interesting start. So I'm going to have a sip of water, some snacks. You know, feel free to do the same yourself if you're joining me along. As the offside flag goes up. And get stuck in. Just like I'm doing to these fries. Anthony Mackin says, Pulisic missing that chance and the Dutch scorer now proves my point that they need a genuine number 9. A number 9 would have finished that chance. That's fair enough. Pulisic has his moments, right? He always seems to deliver when you least expect it. Memphis Depay's in behind, shot across goal, but Turner waves it away. Never really in danger. Very tight angle from Depay, but shows you the confidence there of Memphis that he went for that volley on the angle about 20 yards out, but not an issue for the US. But yeah, going back to that comment, Pulisic, to me, always seems, the US coach there is Greg Berhalter is asking for something from the fourth official, and a bit of banter with them. Didn't seem to be happy with something. But on Pulisic, he seems to be great at doing the ridiculous things. Like, and you think about his goal against Man City a few years ago, goals against Liverpool, some of his goals for the US, and just his ability in the final third. He seems to score the difficult chances and then miss the easy chances. I don't know if that's harsh on him. Let me know in the comments what you think. But, he just seems to really, he's on the ball now, cutting inside, goes down, no free kick given. He's chucking his hands in the air, looking for a free kick as the Dutch come flying down the right. But Zimmerman clears against Gakpo, I think, and is out for a US goal kick. Okay. It was a great defense by the goalkeeper. Pulisic did well, I think. Okay. It wasn't the worst finish. He did it right? He went clean through after it was hooked in. He was played onside. Nobody around him, 12 yards out. And then he went low. You always say goalkeepers are vulnerable when they're coming out like that. But for Noppert, it was a good save. You're right. He got his feet down. I think it come off his shin, ankle area. So he just put himself in a decent position and hope for the best. So, yeah, it's interesting. Robinson has the ball. Adams has it now. Ream, the American dream, has it now. Back to Adams, building down the left flank. And the US trying to get Pulisic in behind Denzel Dumfries and Jurrien Timber. Timber's excellent, by the way. Could definitely see him in the Premier League soon. Stu and Coop, what's the number 9? I don't know if you're bantering us here, but obviously, traditionally, it's a central striker, forward. And sorry if you're not, by the way. I know there's different people watching from different levels of, this is their first ever soccer game. This is their millionth soccer game they've watched. So essentially, it's just having that target forward up front who can finish, can hold up the ball, knit the attack together. And the US doesn't really have one of those. And obviously, they've only scored 2 goals during this World Cup so far. They both come from their wingers and not their central striker. So we're all just hoping that, be it Ferreras today, Sargent in the future, hopefully, or Haji Wright if he comes in, if one of them could do the business, or maybe even one of the wingers can go play up front. But Davy Klaassen gives the ball away. Tyler Adams has it now. US are working hard, winning the ball back. But we are now midway through the first half of this game. Christian Pulisic dropping centrally. Looks sharp, by the way. Don't see any injury issues there. So Dest is coming forward on the right flank. Plays to McKennie. Fries are great, by the way. Tyler Adams. All the way back to Zimmerman on the halfway line. To Ream. Ream surges forward, but plays it straight to Blind. He's done that a couple of times there. Big fan of Tim Ream, but unexpectedly so, he's given the ball away a couple of times. And the Dutch seem to be quite happy now that they're 1-0 up to sit back deep, let the US make their own mistakes. And, yeah, let's see what happens. Okay. The game's in a bit of a lull at the moment. So 20 minutes till halftime. And it is Netherlands 1, USA 0. US fans, how are you feeling out there? Let's just kind of get a feeling of, are you disappointed with that? Obviously disappointed with being 1-0 behind, but there's been some chances, right? It's been some openings, so I feel like it should be too despondent. And as I said, positive comments from Louis van Gaal before this game. He actually described the US as the best team as a unit, and the fact that they work together overall and can really, he said, surprise people, but he said we're not too surprised. And We really respect them as a team, and it seems like the Dutch are playing the US a lot of respect here. They're sitting off again. The early goal gives them that license to do that, but the Dutch are being very respectful of this US team, and I think respect levels across the world have gone up for the US during this World Cup, and maybe just before this, when you see how many players are in the Premier League or in Champions League level teams in Europe. It's been a real resurgence in the program, and hats off to Greg Berhalter and the US team, whatever happens here today. Okay, James Fox, it's already a good World Cup if you made it this far for the US. Yeah, I believe you there, James. I feel exactly the same. Today's a bonus, right? We want to see the US play well, but it's all about 2026 on home soil. The World Cup's going to be in the US, Mexico, and Canada. It's about having the team ready for then. But we say that, right? But we still want them to win today, for sure. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword. It's like, okay, we want to get the experience. Whatever happens, happens. But still, you don't want it to be too negative an experience. The Dutch are pressing high here. Oh, Matt Turner. Loose touch in the box. Nearly got snapped up by, I think, Memphis Depay closing him down. So that's the only issue I'd have with Matt Turner so far this tournament with his feet. Never been the best goalkeeper with his feet, but made some good saves. But a little bit shaky here early on. Tim Weah's out on the right. Sergino Dest is surging forward. This is a good opportunity for the US. Oh, can't quite find Weston McKennie. Frankie de Jong, I think, broke it up there. De Roon to de Jong gives it. Just goes past de Jong. US have it back. Okay. Not bad, not bad. US has settled down okay. Robinson, poor cross. McKennie hooks it somehow back into the box, but the Netherlands clear their lines and get up the pitch. And I think today, Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo, it's a different class than the US has seen so far. Yes, England have got great attackers, didn't really go for it against the US. Memphis Depay cutting inside on his right foot, cuts back onto his left. Zimmerman's holding him up. Does well, Memphis Depay, and it goes out for a corner. Zimmerman did well there, actually, to defend it. But again, just as I was saying, I think Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo, all the US kind of the strikers they face so far on this level, and these two in the form they're in and the quality they have, a whole new level now and a whole new test for this US defense. Maybe mistakes they would have made against Wales, Iran, and then maybe a very lackluster England. I'm not really reading much into that game, obviously, given that I'm English. But this is a big, big test today for this US defense. And so far, obviously, letting one in. They failed it. Comes in. Oh, a header away. Looks like Van Dijk's calling for a corner. Another corner for the Dutch. I'm stress eating fries here now, guys. So, okay. Found things I found. Will the US be better in 2026? Good question. Undoubtedly so. I think if you look at Pulisic, Robinson, Musa, Weah, McKennie, Adams, Dest, even Turner in goal, Rayner, Aronson, all those guys will be in the team in 2026. So you'll go into the World Cup with a whole World Cup worth of experience. And if you look around a lot of rosters, that doesn't happen that often. Or was the Dutch nearly getting in the back post, but the ball was just overhit to Dumfries. But again, I'm a big believer that this World Cup is great. The US have already exceeded expectations for me getting to the last 16. Right, it's all about 2026. The intangibles, right, with the home crowd, how they can really boost this team. And the fact that the next few years, I think more and more of this US team and young US players are going to get opportunities in Europe based on how well this team is playing for their European club teams and how well they've played in this World Cup. Arav says, "Will David get a commentary?" I had this the other day. Was this you as well in the other comment? Is that who I look like? I'm not sure. I've had a few calls over the years, but I appreciate the banter, Arav. So fair play to you, mate. Can we only ask questions, New Yorker? You can only ask questions, but literally think about that. You can ask any question in the world to me. There are no limitations. Football, life, favorite book, favorite city to visit. You can go in whichever direction with this you want, for sure. Okay, let's have a look at some of the comments coming in. Anthony says, Tim Weah needs to get more involved in the game in terms of movement and hold-up play at the moment. He's anonymous and a liability. He's playing scared. Yeah, he's been one of my players of the tournament for the US, to be fair, Anthony. I think he exceeded my expectations. I'm just delighted he's fit and actually there, right? He's had so many terrible injury issues over the years. Um, Great goal against Wales. I like the runs that he's been making off of Sargent Hadji, right? Hasn't made many of them off of Jesus Ferreira right now, right? I wonder if that's kind of a combination thing where he hasn't played with him that often and is learning where he runs and where can I go. But maybe it's down to just Dally Blind actually playing pretty well on the left flank. As Anthony Robinson miscontrols a pass from Tim Ream and it goes out for a Dutch throw. That kind of sums up the US half so far, just been a little bit sloppy. But yeah, Tim Weah had a good World Cup. I think you'd probably agree with that as well, Anthony. But need more from him. So maybe this is the opportunity where you move him up top, try him out in that number 9, because Jesus Ferreira has barely touched the ball so far. So move Weah up top, play Aronson or Rayner on the right in the second half. Is that what we would do? It's going to be interesting. Get your questions coming in, everyone. Again, in the USA, you can watch in Spanish on Telemundo and on Peacock. Pull up that stream, mute it, have this up as well so you can ask me your questions. And on Fox in English in the USA, you can watch it across their platforms as well. As Van Dijk lumps the ball forward, Gakpo is in down the right. Ream comes to shut him down, and Gakpo miscontrols it, and the US have it back. A lot of comments coming in here. So, Ball Knowledge 14 says, Gakpo is the experience. How far do you think they'll go? Where did I have the Dutch going? I think I had the Dutch going to the quarterfinals, maybe even the semi-finals of this tournament. I was pretty high on them, to be honest. So, yeah, I actually think they're very well organised, as we're seeing now. After going ahead, if they can go ahead in games and Memphis Depay and Gakpo can combine, then I think they're underrated, the Dutch. And they're on, I wouldn't say easy, but it's got easier, right? Their side of the bracket. I think, obviously, if they hold out here and win, they're going to play, I think we can all agree, probably Argentina in the quarters. So I think it's not a vintage Argentine side either. And you can say that about the Dutch, but I think they've got a good combination of experience, youth, skill, balance, defensive stability. So, yeah, as we see some US fans in the crowd trying to roar on their team. 33rd minute, Netherlands 1, USA 0. Tim Ream plays the ball back to his own goalkeeper. But I'm big on the Dutch, in case anyone didn't guess that so far. So for the US, if they did go out today, no disgrace in that whatsoever. Okay, what we got? We've got some more questions coming in. Thanks so much, Ball Knowledge, and thanks everyone for your questions. How long can Argentina go? Champion or maybe the semi-final? By the way, do I agree that England can at least get to the semi-final as well? I think Argentina, the way the bracket is shaped up, they get to the semi-final against Brazil, and I think that might be a step too far for them. I do worry about going forward. They miss a lot of chances, which is weird to say given the attackers they have, and they have got better in midfield, more control. And I think Brazil is a completely different opposition than they would have faced in this tournament and will face in the rest of the knockout rounds. So I think the favourite for the tournament will be whoever wins between Brazil and Argentina in that semi-final if they do make it that far. So, yeah, I think that's where they'll get to, and then go from there. It'll be kind of flip of a coin. And then on England, you're asking an Englishman. I was at the European Championship final when they lost to Italy with my role of NBC working there. Saw them agonisingly lose on penalty kicks. Seen them agonisingly lose in the semi-final of the World Cup to Croatia in extra time. Just sum up England and agonising for me in the same sentence, and you've kind of got there with my experience of being a Three Lions fan through birth over the years. So yeah, I think they can get to the semi-final, but the big quest for them is really to get past France in the quarterfinal. That would be the big one, right? I think that is the big test. If France get through against Poland and England get through against Senegal, which I think they probably will, then yeah, I think I think England will get to the semi-finals, and then I don't know. I've got a horrible feeling they're going to get to the final and then lose to one of Brazil and Argentina. But that's my prediction. But thanks so much for the question and the comment. And again, you can any questions you want on the World Cup. Doesn't have to be the Netherlands or the USA, but any other country or, like I said, anything in the soccer world. That's obviously my area of expertise. But if you want to ask me about anything, then take this opportunity because I've got the comments here. I can see them coming in, and we'll keep it going. 10 minutes till half time. Netherlands 1, USA 0. Netherlands will be really happy with the way this is played out, by the way. Early goal, can sit back, defend. They're pretty comfortable in that back three that becomes a back five in these situations. Van Dijk sprint. I say that now. Klaasen's just giving it away. Tyler Adams, man, the moment's won it back. Robinson's on the ball. US working it around the midfield. But yeah, this is for US fans. What kind of changes would you like to see at halftime? This is big, right? When you look at the bench, it's not like they don't have options. When you look at the Haji Wright, you look at Luca De La Torre to have a bit more control in midfield. Obviously, the two obvious answers are Gio Reyna and Brendan Aronson, right? But Jordan Morris, I don't know. I don't know where they go from here because it's been the performance so far. I think has been looks like a slightly tired team from everything they gave in the group stages to get out. But Musa's driving forward, plays it in towards Pulisic to Robinson, whips it in the back post. Dali Blind flicks it away. But that's better from the US. Much better. Andrea with a great question here. Winner of this plays the winner of the next match this afternoon. That's right, Andrea. The US or Netherlands, whoever wins this, will play the winner of Argentina against Australia. And Australia, by the way, hats off to the Socceroos. What a tournament they've had. Pretty incredible. And then we got Winston coming in. Gio Reyna needs to come on. Tawalupe, what's the score? Netherlands 1, USA 0, 38th minute. But the US is on the attack. Yunus Musa. Oh, couldn't quite get it through for two out wide. But much better from the US. Pulisic is in down the left. Good cross here, and the US could be in business. Timber does really well here to shut off that pass. And Pulisic looks to the heavens and I wouldn't say disgust, but he's not happy with that quality. And that is a difference, really. I think Timber's been the man of the match for me so far, shutting off the threat of Pulisic, coming in behind Dumfries, and allowing the Dutch to have that extra defensive solidity. Positionally, really good. Stephanie Albright says, does the USA have to win or tie to move on? So a straight knockout here, Stephanie. So if it ends like this, the USA obviously going out. But if they can get 1-1 or tie it up, however they do that at the end of 90 minutes, then we're coming in with an extra 30-minute period. And if it's level at the end of that, then it's penalty kicks. Okay. Prism here, we've got a comment. They need to take a chance. Better to try and win and risk losing by 3 or 4 goals than play it safe and lose by 1. Defeat is defeat. Totally agree with that. But also, I think the US is probably now playing to get to halftime only 1-0 down, maybe even to 60 minutes only 1-0 down, and then backing themselves to pin the Dutch back and know they'll drop deeper, and then maybe taking it to extra time. But that seems to be what they're doing. But I agree with you. The sentiment is spot on. You might as well. Maybe I'm a bit cavalier in my approach, but I'd rather see my team go for it and get back in the game, where now the US is just knocking it around. The Dutch is sitting back with 8 or 9 players behind the ball, basically going to a back 5 when the US has it. And that early goal was really a killer for the US because the Dutch now have the ability to just sit back and protect that lead. Charles Glynn says Reyna midfield and De La Torre. I like the De La Torre shout. I think for, as good as Yunus Musa, McKennie and Adams have been during this tournament, I would probably take off, this might be controversial, but I'd probably take off Weston McKennie. I think in this situation, when you want to try and get control of the game, De La Torre is so good on the ball, can get you in that final third more often. I think McKenny's great, works hard, dynamic, but on the ball, I just have some questions with him sometimes. So that's what I would do, Charles. Great comment. And I think Rayner bringing him on for maybe Ferreira and moving Weyer centrally. Haven't seen anything of Weyer out on the right. So that's probably what I would do. I'd bring off Ferreira for Rayner, move Rayner out wide on the right, Weyer up top, and then I'd probably take off McKenny, who has been struggling with injury before this tournament, so maybe you just can't quite go 2 games in as many, 4 days. As Weyer's coming in down the right here, by the way. Good cross. Ferreira in the box, turns, Pulisic moves it to Robinson, just overhits it. Key moment there for Pulisic. Just overhit, but Robinson tries to get his cross in, but it deflects and goes straight to the Dutch goalkeeper. Big opportunity there for the US. Couldn't make most of it. Jamie Donald, do you think that Dest, McKennie, Pulisic could guide the US further in the World Cup, or would the pressure get to them? You know what, Jamie? I think I don't think they're really playing with any pressure right now. I think they're playing with house money, right? It's a cliche, but but few people expected them to actually get to the last 16 out of the group, myself included. I thought Wales would probably get through, or maybe Iran would be tricky, but obviously it was close. It was a close run thing. So I think there's a lot of confidence in this young US team that, no one really expected this. We've already won at this tournament, just getting to the knockout rounds. And I think there's a lot of US fans before this tournament thinking, we're going to lose all 3 games in the group. We're going to get disgraced. This is terrible. The way that some of the warm-up games went and how some of the young players have been injured recently. But it's all come together at the right moment for the US team in terms of injury-wise, been fresh, been fit. Tim Weyer, edge of the box. Oh, lovely strike, but Noppert saves down to his right, and he tries to pull it back in a Dutch clear. But that's after that Pulisic early chance. That's the closest the US have come to a goal. Ball dropped to Weyer, edge of the box after a half clearance from the Dutch. Drills it low, but a good height. Again, another cliche. Good height to the goalkeeper. Noppert pushes it wide, and the Dutch clear. But we got 2.5 minutes till half time here, and the US are having a real pop at the Dutch as they get it out on the right again. And those combinations in the wide areas, get Dest forward. That's what I'm more focused on. Get Dest forward. Get Robinson forward. Get Pulisic and Weyer just cutting inside. Create overloads. Create those situations where you get your 2 most dangerous players, who the 2 chances have fallen to today, Pulisic and Weyer, in those areas. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't finished so far, but you'd fancy them to finish. Okay, Sam Leary. Thanks for joining. That profile picture, by the way, that's impressive, by the way. Fair play to you. Who do you like in the Argentina versus Australia? I like Argentina. Probably an easy answer there, but I think it'll be closer than we think. Maybe a 2-1 or a 1-0 to Argentina. I think it's going to be really close. I actually really like what Australia have done in this tournament, so that's why I think they'll do well against Argentina. I think defensively, Suter has been excellent. Goalkeeper Matty Ryan's been good. Aaron Moy in midfield has been exceptional, holding the ball up. And then they've got that classic kind of, said this to Nick and Andy on Pro Soccer Talk, they kind of remind me of a Stoke City in the Premier League era. They just sit back, defend, happy to do all the dirty things well, and then they can launch counters and be dangerous. And Lecky's been excellent on the break. Some good set-piece opportunities. And yeah, it's just been fun to watch another underdog team. As Dest comes forward. He's in the box. Sergino Dest. Oh, good block by Van Dijk, but much better for the US. In the comments, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, let's have a go. We might as well. I think it was Prism was saying, might as well have a go to try and get back in the game. But the problem with that is Cody Gakpo's got 3 on the counter here. Plays the ball in. Anthony Robinson clears it, but one-on-one there, Gakpo against Ream. And the US are taking more chances as we get towards the halftime whistle, which is what they needed to do. But Tyler Adams plays a ball out, and it's just been a bit sloppy, right? A bit sloppy from the US so far. Anybody watching will kind of agree with that. But yeah, this is good. So many comments coming in. This is great. Michael, chances the USA get back into this realistically? 50-50 right now. I think if they don't score now in this last few minutes of the first half, probably have to score before the 70th minute, Michael. It's interesting. Ball recovery time. Those stats have just come up. On average, it takes the US 14 seconds to win the ball back. and it takes, on average, the Dutch 28 seconds to win the ball back. So you can tell from that one stat alone, the Dutch are happy to sit back, right, and let the US have the ball, not really worried about winning it back out of the pitch. And by the way, 1 minute of stoppage time. Is that a record at this tournament? I don't think we've had that few of stoppage time so far. So pretty incredible thus far, but it kind of shows how the game has flowed so far. There's been no real stoppages of any kind. Dutch have got in down the right. Dumfries pulls it back. Same as the goal. Oh, my word. The Netherlands 2-0 up right on half-time, 20 seconds before the half-time whistle. And it almost a carbon copy of the opening goal. Dumfries, the one right wing back, gets down the right, pulls it back to the penalty spot. Again, you'd think you were watching exactly the same goal as the first goal. And Daley Blind, the veterans, popping up, coming in from left wing back and finishes it off. And now it's the Netherlands 2, USA 0. And they cut to a US fan in the crowd with a Captain America mask on. And he summed it up. I can't repeat what he seemed to have said, but it wasn't great. And neither is this. Daley Blind there. Sergino Dest just totally lost him. Great run into the penalty spot area. And it's like the Dutch have seen a weakness in this from the US team, right? They've been playing a lot of balls, getting to the byline, cutting it back. And what a low finish. Matt Turner's not happy with that. And right on half-time, last kick of the first half, the Netherlands are 2-0 up. Daley Blind smiling. And this is going to have to take an almighty effort from the USA to get back into this game. Oh, man. US fans, how are you feeling? I feel pretty deflated there. Oh, right on half-time. That is a sickener for the USA. Carbon copy of the first goal. Got to the byline, cut it back, and that's what the Dutch have done. They've only had a couple of opportunities, but they've taken them, and that's the difference, right? That is the difference. Oh, as you can tell, I'm pretty gutted with that. I really am trying to stay positive for the US, but that is a sickener. It could have been 1-0 at half-time. That is a totally different situation. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here. Get your comments coming in. US fans, what do you do now? Who do you bring on? 2-0 down at half-time. Mika's saying we need a proper manager. I think we're probably seeing, right, the tactics from Louis van Gaal and his experience maybe at against Greg Berhalter at this kind of stage of a tournament. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's it. But 45 minutes to go. Believe US fans, they've done it well throughout this tournament, kept the faith, but takeoff there, deserve to lose. Too many missed chances. But you got the Pulisic missed chance, the Weah half chance. Yeah, it's tough. That's really, really tough. So get your comments coming in. We're going to go through those. Have a few fries, have a drink of water here. But do we think 2-0 is harsh on the US, or is this just maybe a harsh lesson? I think it might be a harsh lesson at how good the Dutch or teams at this level could be. But get your questions coming in. Andrea, she's already up against the US. I'm going to cheer for Japan or South Korea, someone new. Yeah, I love that. I just want to say on this tournament overall, it's been fantastic, right? As we're showing the replay of the Dutch goal, 20 passes, and then a 21st touch was Memphis Depay sweeping at home. So that shows you the quality from back to front they built throughout the entire team, confident on the counter, and the US just couldn't get near them. So sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say that's utter quality. But yeah, Andrea, your point there is a great one. We've seen the US, Japan, South Korea, Morocco, all going through, and Senegal as well. And there's been a really good mixture of teams throughout the world who have qualified for this last 16 and just made it a very memorable World Cup. The World Cup group stage, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but recency bias was that the greatest World Cup group stage in history? Kind of think it was. The amount of upsets they had, as we're seeing scenes across the Netherlands, orange confetti going everywhere, the Dutch fans going crazy, pyrotechnics, obviously famous for that. They're loving it. They're loving it. Anthony says it's a harsh lesson until the USA create a world-class number 9. They won't be able to get past the last 16, just like the southern neighbors. Good point. Yeah, a lot of parallels between the US and Mexico in this tournament, right? US just got over the line against Iran. Mexico was so close. Did another watch along for that game. Couldn't quite get past and get the goals they needed against Saudi Arabia and the help they needed from Argentina. So I don't know what that says really about the US and Mexico. Do they prefer playmakers, midfielders, defenders over kind of goal scorers? I don't know. It's interesting, right? When you look at around the world and certain regions seem to produce a certain type of player really well. It's interesting. I love all that stuff when it comes down to football in the world. P. Morton says Netherlands running through the US through some training drills right now. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that first goal was exceptional, right? And like I said, I think Louis van Gaal and his coaching staff, hats off to them. They've seen a weakness. That is the overload situation. Whenever they get one of their wing backs high up the pitch into an attacking third, if they're cutting the ball back, then the other wing back, he's going to be the spare man, right? He'll come across. And unless you have great communication between your wing back, defender, midfielder, he's probably going to find a bit of space. And that's exactly what happened on that killer second goal just before half time. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to turn an extra light on here. There we go. We're in business. Disappearing into the dark a little bit as the winter time creeps in here in England. Absurd Andy said those pullback crosses are killing us. We aren't marking. It's a good point. I think it was Tyler Adams, right, on the first goal, which is really harsh to single him out given how great he's been, but just switched off for that split second to cover. And I mentioned this earlier, against Iran, against Wales, even against the very lackluster England team who were just playing for the point. I don't think you get punished for making those kind of half mistakes. But in the last 16 of a World Cup against the Dutch, with the quality they have, you obviously do get punished. And we've seen that. That's the difference for the US so far. So keep the faith, Absurd Andy. But I think we're going to need an absurd comeback from the US to have them going any further in the World Cup. Blake and Kate, good comment here. US just doesn't have the talent. Unless soccer gets more popular in the States, they won't be winning any World Cups. It is getting more popular though, right? I think we've seen players coming to Europe early, the strength of MLS growing, the popularity, I think, of the sport in the States. As I said before, my family are American. I spend a lot of time back and forward in the States the last 15 years. Now I think about the early 2000s when I first came to the US to now where it is. Think about the difference in the last 15 years. It's been pretty monumental. So the next 15 years, if they can do that, who knows in the future? Don't get too despondent, Blake and Kate. I think there's a lot of hope for the US, even in the next World Cup on home soil. If they can get to the last 16 here, with the experience a lot of these young players are going to have, hopefully a lot of good young attacking number 9s coming forward as well, then it should give them the opportunity to really push on and make a semi-final or even a final or even go all the way. So don't be despondent. But Qualo, I'm sad. I think all US fans are sad right now. But you know, it's gonna be interesting. Mazel Jenkins, what's the real T on Reina? I think there is obviously a situation there, maybe after the first game with the comments to him, to the media saying I'm fully fit. Berhalter saying, you know, there was some confusion about having a knock or just leaving him out, coach's decision. And then there's been some back and forth since in the media, muddy in the waters. Seeing Reina's reaction doesn't seem happy. And then Berhalter come back and saying, look at the situations of games we've been in. We've been up, we've been holding on. You don't really bring on a number 10, a playmaker in those situations. You usually bring on an extra midfield player. So I can actually understand that, but something's not quite right there, right? I think from either he's not playing at the level that they'd want him to, or I don't know. I really don't know. it's going to be interesting. I think we'll find out really seriously what's happened in the next days and weeks to come. Dan Allen, devoid of imagination on the pitch and with the USA chance. I mean, you can't beat a good USA. I agree with that. But, costumes have been great. We've had Captain America in the crowd. We've had a lot of other good costumes. But imagination on the pitch, you're kind of right there. I think that's where I'm just a bit disappointed with this US team in this World Cup. They've battled hard, been solid, tough to beat. But, just that cutting edge in the final third, right? So let us know your thoughts on the performance so far. I'm going to look at sort of the key battles. Where is the game being won and lost? And what we want to see from the US in the second half. I think key battles is out wide. We thought the US would be dominant from right back and left back with Dest and Robinson, respectively. I think Dally Blind, obviously popping up with a big goal. And then Dumfries has been excellent to set him up for that goal down the other flank, done their job defensively, given the Dutch a threat on the counter-attack. So I think that's where the game's kind of being won and lost right now for the Netherlands out wide. And then they have that quality in the final third when they're getting there to finish chances off. That's the key area right now. And obviously the US not taking that big chance early on from Christian Pulisic. In terms of sort of what I want to see from the US in the second half, mention it in the comments. Take more risks. Get a playmaker on. I would bring on Aronson and Reina at half time. Get them in the game, firing. I really think they can make an impact in the last 30 minutes. It might be too little too late right now, but what do they say? 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football. So you get a goal now. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Trust me. Teams I've supported over the year have been 2-0 up and it's all gone pear-shaped, as we say here in England. So, just wait and see. George Bamete Jr., the US team is solid. They're punching above their weight. That's all. But they can do better if they bring on more attacking players like Gio and Aaron. George, you and I, mate, we're on the same wavelength here. So hopefully we see that, if not at half time, very early in the second half. In terms about the Netherlands, it's interesting for them now, right? I mean, do you take off maybe Gakpo or Memphis Depay and bring on an extra midfielder just to clog things up even further and see out the 2-0 win? Or do you just keep going for it? And I think the game plans worked very well for them. The US had a lot of the ball, but whenever they've given it up and then the transitions, the counters, the Dutch have been experts at making that work. So, it's going to be interesting. Lennart says more attacking players will open the US more in the back. That's true. Hans, who's winning right now? Hans, if you're a US fan, I'm sorry to report this. Netherlands 2, USA 0 at halftime. And Leonard says countering will be more easy. Yeah, that's fair enough. Prism, only chance for them to be variable, unpredictable, and very aggressive. Yeah, US fans, I think all of the success they've had in this tournament so far to get to the last 16 has been about being aggressive in their face. And I feel like the US has almost paid the Dutch a little bit too much respect in that first half. Is that fair enough? Just a bit standoffish, bit sloppy on the ball, half a pace off of where they should be defensively shape-wise. And, it's interesting. Roger, though, Roger's keeping the faith. Bless you, Roger. US team is younger, so conditioning should be in our favor as time goes on. I would usually agree with you, but in this World Cup, right, it's been the opposite. They've really waned and wavered in the second half of games, but let's wait and see. Steven says, take off Klaassen and put in Xavi. Xavi Simons, great player for PSV, love him. More pressure on the US defense. And that's it for the Dutch now. They don't really have to. They know that they can just sit back, keep the ball. And if they do that, they're going to get 3 or 4 other chances in the second half because the US is a knockout game. They have to at least get a point, take it to extra time. At least get a draw, take it to extra time. So they got to go for it. But let me know at halftime. Let's have a quick check-in. Where in the world you're watching from? Where in the US? Tell me your hometown, where you are right now. Love seeing where you guys are all over the world. A lot of fun doing this. And again, a reminder to watch the second half. You can pull up a stream in the USA in Spanish on Telemundo and on Peacock, and in English in the USA on Fox as well. So we'll do that all together, right? We'll watch it. US fans, keep the faith. It's only 2-0. It's only 2-0. It's going to be okay. We've got some people watching Comic Books Guide in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thanks so much for joining us. Stevens in The Hague or The Hague, Netherlands. Yulao's in China. Tapure is in Michigan. Aronson Rayner, that's what everyone wants in the comments section for the US. Moises says Triple G is too stubborn. Everything has to be a perfect 4-3-3 with him. Ferreira has to come off a Rayner. Don't disagree with that, my friend. That's a great comment. And all right, Moises, if Rayner comes on, is he playing up top for you, or are you going to put Weyer or Pulisic, one of those guys, up top? Or does it really matter? Just get him moving fluid, the three. Let me know what you think. Paul Yerrick, this is, I would say, this is a really good comment. And actually, this is sort of hashtag perspective, Paul. Americans are like kids who are surprised with cookies and ice cream for dessert and are asking why they don't get a strawberry shake too. We should be so proud of our team making it this far. Just for argument's sake, I would have the cookies and ice cream and also get the strawberry shake, to be fair. I have a sweet tooth. But we should be proud to get to the last 16. And, the Dutch have made a couple. Cooper Miners and Steven Bergwijn have come on at halftime. And Gio Reyna, he's on. He's on at halftime for the US. So that's a big deal. That is a really big deal for the US. And he's come on for Jesus Ferrer, which hardly had a touch, right, in that first half. But let's wait and see what happens now if Rayner can spark an incredible comeback. But Paul, thanks for putting that comment in, because I think we all, no matter who we support, right, we get carried away with you have to win, we have to win. But the fact this young US team is in the last 16 of a World Cup against the Netherlands is an achievement in itself. And it sounds weird to say that. You want to win the game every game, but perspective is key for sure. So thanks, Paul. That's a really good comment there. Second half has just kicked off. Netherlands 2, USA 0. Andrea, again, perspective, making it to the last 16 isn't easy. Mexico fans will tell you about that. Unfortunately, they usually every World Cup make it to the last 16, but they came so close. And Andrea saying still proud as well. And yeah, let's see. Exalt, do you think the last minute goal put a nail in the coffin for the US? Potentially. If they don't get a goal early in the first 15 minutes of the second half, it's going to be very, very tough. Very, very tough. A lot of good comments coming in there. I'm just trying to scroll through all of them. What is my name? I'm Joe Prince-Wright, the lead writer into Pro Soccer Talk. You can see it below in the description. So head over to PST throughout the World Cup tournament. We'll have how to watch information, previews, team news, everything you need analysis-wise. But yeah, what a World Cup it's been so far. Okay, the Dutch are fantastic consistently. We can still make a game of this too. The US will need a quick goal to energize them and give them a little self-belief. And Greg Brown, 2-0 is not a death sentence. You're right. I like the positivity here because the US didn't play terribly in that first half. They still carved out a couple of good chances, right? Pulisic clean through. Weyer had that one he spanked low, which the goalkeeper saved. So not all doom and gloom, guys. Not all doom and gloom. Prism, it's kind of a role reversal. The Netherlands team is in a position the US team is most comfortable being in the second half. That's a good point. As the Dutch come forward down the right. Play it into Steven Bergwijn. Good tackle from Tim Ream. But the Dutch win it back. Tough. Tough start for the second half for the US. Okay, Arthur says the US team seems to be expecting a particular Dutch style, but they've changed their strategy. The US team standing around whenever they get the ball, not expecting to control the ball quite as much. Good point there. I think Dutch are standing off right and just snapping in kind of on a secondary press just in front of the back. As Memphis Depay comes in, plays it. Oh, just overplayed the ball to Stevie Bergwijn in the box. Bergwijn's got it. Dali Blind, the goal machine. Oh, a lovely little Cruyff backheel flick towards Memphis Depay, but can't get it. McKennie tries to get the attack going on the counter for the US. Denzel Dumfries is tracking him all the way. Oh, Tim Weyer's in down the right. He's got a cross. Get the cross right, Tim. Oh, great defending from Nathan Ake. Yeah, that's tough, but decent there for the US. The Dutch came forward, and the US made the most of it on the counter attack. All right, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Decent start to the second half, generally. Generally. Okay. Joshua Byram says, I felt positive at the half ended at 1-0. Oh, could be a goal for the US off the line. Tim Ream nearly bundles it from a corner kick. Nearly bundles it over the line. Nopper and then McKennie with a deflected header. Huge chance for the US. Tim Ream, the American dream, just bundling it home towards the back stick. Who was it got cleared off the line? I think it was Cody Gakpo back there. Usually been the hero at the other end for the Dutch, but clearing it off the line. Wow, big moment there. They'd have got a goal there, the US. You would fancy them with 40 minutes plus to go. Big moment there in the game, you feel like. If that had gone in at that point, then USA would be full steam ahead, wouldn't they? Let's see some comments and questions coming in here. How is Van Dijk doing from Czech? Oh, nearly 3-0 to the Dutch. My word. Cross came in. I think it was Dali Blind again, nearly getting in at the back post. Matt Turner making a save low down in the 6-yard box. I think Sergino Dest just did enough. Oh, Sergino Dest just did enough to clear. Walker Zimmerman nearly scored an own goal. Great reactions from Matt Turner to save the initial shot. But yeah, the Dutch now looking really dangerous as the US take more risks. But wow, this is end-to-end now. Such an open game now. The US are coming forward. Down the right, Weyer to Sergino Dest. He's in the Dutch penalty box, cuts in on his left. Oh dear, oh dear. You don't need me to tell you that that was an awful effort. He shanked it with his left foot, went out for the throw-in on the other side, but there's attacking intent there. Good signs. Keep it up and the game changes dramatically. That's fair enough. Oh, sorry, Jason. When you had those chances, was in the middle of all talking about Van Dijk. Yeah, he's done okay. I think solid positionally. He's been excellent. Lovely moment, by the way, in replay. Dali Blind celebrating with his dad, Danny Blind, as the assistant coach for the Dutch team. That's lovely. Lovely to see. Dali Blind, really nice guy, by the way. Caught up with him in the past, and yeah, good dude. Anyway, Van Dijk hasn't had a lot to do. Been good on the ball, keeping the Dutch solid defensively, and honestly, they've been in such a tight kind of shape in this game that you haven't seen any marauding runs. Hasn't really had to track back too much. Hasn't been forced to do much work defensively. So for Liverpool fans watching this, yeah, it's pretty good from VVD. Pulisic in down the left, cutting inside on his right foot, has a shot from distance, but bit of a daisy cutter, as we'd say here in England. Rolls along the floor and Noppert collects it. But better from the US. Had a couple of chances in the second half early on. And that will just worry the Dutch a little bit. Okay. Andrea, any more of the watch-alongs? We'll definitely do some more watch-alongs, Andrea. And thanks so much for joining us for some of these. Definitely seen you commenting throughout. So really appreciate you joining us and getting the questions in. Yeah, we'll have some more throughout the knockout rounds, I'm sure. Haven't got the schedule totally cleared up yet, but we love doing these and love chatting with you guys and joining you for this, a huge moment, right, in the world. World Cup only comes around once every 4 years. So many questions. I mean, what US fans? Gio Reyna's on the ball here for the first time, really, since he came on. He's cutting in from the left flank. He's trying to get on his right foot. Plays Weston McKennie, edge of the box, drills it. Just over the bar, but better from the US. Much better from the US. Gio Reyna's getting on the ball. He's making stuff happen. Gio Reyna, he found McKennie in the edge of the box, and he drills it over the bar. but better, right? Better. How you feeling, US fans? Bit more confident now. I know you're 2-0 down, but you're getting a lot of chances against this Dutch team. And what an open start to the second half this has been. Try and take a breather here. There's a lot of action that's gone on right at the start of the second half. Um, it's not half time. It is 55th minute now. We're coming up to Netherlands 2, USA 0. So is there just over half an hour left for the US in the World Cup? Unless they score a couple here. It's going to be. So needs a mammoth effort here from the US in this second half to give themselves an opportunity. So the stat here, the US hit 3 shots on target in the first 7 minutes of the second half against the Netherlands, one more than they had in the second half of their 3 group stage matches combined. So shows you the urgency, right? Where they're coming out in the second half, having a go. Again, maybe, I think someone in the comments said, should have started Gio Reyna. But, I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Okay. Free kick here against the Dutch, but Memphis was nearly in. Would like to see Aronson, Alexander Greer. I agree with that. Get him on sharpish. Is it still halftime? No. Second half. Still going strong. Gumi says, La France champion du monde. With my very limited French, I'm pretty sure that says France will be the world champions. They are the world champions, reigning. But yeah, they got a good chance now. I think even losing Pogba, Benzema, Kante, and Cuckoo, they've got an incredible squad. So yeah, why not? Why not? Some great questions and comments coming through. And as we enter the final 30 minutes of this game or so, you can watch in the USA on Spanish on Telemundo and Peacock. Pull up a stream it live on Peacock, and have it on mute. And obviously have me here so I can join you for the game and answer. I'll answer your questions, get your questions coming in. And in the US, in English, you can watch on Fox and their platforms as well. Okay. Forward 3 need to start base and stop being selfish. Okay. Yeah, I think Pulisic sometimes when he cuts in and Weah, obviously they've got one thing in their mind to score, right? You want to see that combination. I think that is where not having a really prolific and or just comfortable number 9 comes into play, where Josh Sargent almost seemed to bring Pulisic and Weah to life in the right areas when he was on. And even though he wasn't looking too dangerous himself, he was doing a lot of the hard yards and the unselfish work to get those US players in the right positions. So, yeah, it's tough for the US. We've talked about it a lot on this watch along today. Just that lack of a number 9 is really going to be the difference between them getting to the last 16 or maybe even going to the quarters and semi-finals. Argentina is winning the World Cup. All right, fair enough. And I'd be interested to see what the US does here. Guys in the comments, I mean, it's got to be Aronson, right? It's got to be coming on soon. I can't believe this, but Brazil's going to win the World Cup. Go Netherlands. Andrea, can Australia pull off a win? Don't think so, but stranger things have happened probably in this World Cup as well. But I think that would probably be one of the biggest World Cup upsets of all time if Australia beats Argentina and Lionel Messi, given the way that, Messi and that recovered from their defeat against Saudi Arabia. So they can do it for sure. If there's any team in the last 16 that is set up to just defend deep and kind of get lucky and then hit a team on the counter or from a set piece, then it's Australia. But Seeing the scenes across Australia are what, 3 or 4 in the morning their time to get up to watch games. The whole country seems to be behind the Socceroos. Great nickname as well. So yeah, who knows with this World Cup, Andrea? I really don't know what to expect anymore. But this is going to be crazy. Greg, if the USA loses, I'm rooting for the Socceroos. I don't think you're on your own there. I think there's a lot of love for these underdogs in this tournament. Japan, South Korea, Senegal even as well, I think, against England. There's a lot of love for the underdogs, and rightly so. It's been a really, really fun World Cup. Jason Breble says, is it a weak midfield for the US? You know what? Midfield all tournament's been really good for them, hasn't it? But Adams, McKennie, Musa just haven't really got going today. Pulisic clips in a dangerous free kick for the US, by the way. Tim Ream wins the second ball on the header. Dest has it out on the right, trying to get it on his right foot to whip in a cross. Back to Tim Weah on the edge of the box. Back to Tyler Adams. He's going to whip it in with his right foot. Decent ball, but Jason, you asked about Van Dijk earlier. Big clearance from the Dutch centre-back and the skipper and the Liverpool star. Looking pretty comfortable there as he knocked that out. But Pulisic gets clattered into. Who was that who clattered him? Thing is, Cooper Miners just hacked away at Pulisic. Wins the free kick. Yeah. Stephen, not having a number 9 is just one problem. No creativity in the midfield is another problem for the US. No one to connect the play go. Yeah, you're spot on, mate. I think that given how well it worked in the group stage, it was quite defensive, wasn't it? And again, we talked about this a lot. They haven't been behind in games. So I feel like they don't really have that switch to flip between being a keep the ball, grind it out team and a let's go and counter, let's go and go on the front foot. And when the high press isn't working, like it isn't really working today, because the Dutch are just, after that early goal, they're just content to sit back and be deep and let the US almost beat themselves, right, by overstepping in on the press and then the Dutch hitting them on the counter like they are right now. And it's 3-on-2. Memphis Depay against Anthony. Oh no, Steven Bergwijn against Anthony Robinson. He does well, Robinson, and a combination, I think, of him and is it Pulisic back there. But the Dutch win it back again. Cody Gakpo turning edge of the box, driving towards goal, smashes it with his left foot, a block, tries to hit it again. Memphis Depay. Oh, what a save by Matt Turner. Depay whipping one towards the top corner, and Turner just tipping it over from Depay. But that's exactly what I'm talking about there, Stephen. I think that US is in a lose-lose situation right now, right? They need to go for it. The Dutch are happy sitting off and very comfortable playing on the counter. And I think tactically, it's just been a bad matchup for the US today from start to finish, if I'm totally honest. So, yeah, it's been really, really, really rough in terms of getting that early goal for the Netherlands and how it's played out for the US. Corner comes in, McKennie clears. Oh, Matt Turner making a bit of a hash of that. Van Dijk nearly getting the end of it, but it looked like it was a foul by the Dutch skipper. But yeah, Turner pushing over that effort from Memphis Depay. It's as close as the Dutch have come in the second half, apart from that goal mouth scramble where Sergino Dest kind of cleared. Wow, there's so many comments, just trying to catch up here. Oh, here come the Dutch again. Dumfries in the box. He's gone down, looking for a penalty, it looks like. Be interested to see if this goes to VAR. Pulisic's now got the ball on the halfway line. Dumfries is staying down. Looked like Robertson just caught his standing leg, but may have been looking for it. Weah's on the ball, driving into the box. The Dutch are trying to get back. Ake clears. And now it's the Dutch on the counter-attack. 2-on-3. Memphis Depay. Dumfries is still slow getting up, but the US win it back. I don't know if it is going to VAR. We'll double-check that. But my word, this is intense. Now this is just open, end-to-end. US is going for it. They have to, right? I mean, US fans, you can't have any issues with this. The issues are with the poor marking and the naivety, I think, in the first half on those two Dutch goals. So similar. And obviously the Dutch very clever to work out how they could get at the US. Prism says playing well on the defense, given how challenging the situation is. Yeah, it's pretty challenging, isn't it? It's this is 26 minutes to go in the World Cup. Just go all out for it, right? And need to make subs. I agree with you there. I agree with you. I think I don't understand why there hasn't been more substitutes, but Jason says, who do I think will win the World Cup? I went with Brazil at the start to beat England in the final. Okay, some subs coming on. Haji-Wright and Brendan Aronson are coming on for the US with 25 minutes to go. This is it. They're getting final instructions from Greg Berhalter. Anthony Robinson is down injured, so maybe we'll see Robinson coming off and the US going to a back three and just really going for it. But I think Brazil will win the World Cup. That's my prediction before it. I'm going to stick with it. But it's wide open. I think Brazil, England, Spain, France, Portugal, maybe the Netherlands. They've kind of shown that they're in a little bit of a different class, right, of their own. So I'm seeing a replay of Robinson's tackle on Dumfries. They kind of just both caught each other on the calf and both got injured around the shin calf area. So Dumfries is hobbling around a bit. Robinson looks like he might come off with an injury. So, yeah, a bit of a crazy moment there. Andrea's asking, how do I must be excited about England. Do I think Senegal can beat England? I definitely think Senegal can beat England. If England don't turn up, then Senegal have the players, even without Idrissa Gana Gueye, and then Cheikh Kouyaté struggling in midfield. I think England might just overpower Senegal in midfield. Without Sadio Mane, obviously a very different Senegalese team, but the Lions of Teranga have been excellent. Love watching them play. Koulibaly at the back, Mendy in goal, solid defensively. But I don't know. I can't remember the last time I was this kind of excited by an England team with the attacking talents they have. You know, if Saka and Sterling don't start, then Rashford and Foden come in and do the business and score against Wales. So it's interchangeable up there, up top and in midfield for England for the most part. Although I'd probably start Bellingham and Rice. So I think it's all down to the mindset of England. Are they going to go for it early on against Senegal and try and wrap up the win as soon as possible and be really positive? Or are they too negative? Then I think Senegal has the players to kind of be patient and then hit England on the counter and make them pay. So bit nervous about this matchup, but I don't know. Maybe that's just my past experiences as an England fan. Tyler Newman, I hope South Korea can pull off an upset against Brazil, praying. South Korea have been great in this tournament. Really unlucky in the opening couple of games, but just kept going all the way. Tim Weah's come off, by the way. He's subbed off. Haji-Wright's coming on. Brendan Aronson. And Weston McKennie's coming off as well. So a lot of attacking players on the pitch for the US. It's basically going to be like a 4-2-4 now, I'd imagine. Just going for it. Why not? Just go for it. But yeah, South Korea kept plugging away right until the 91st minute in their final group stage game and got it done. What a moment there. Heung-min Son with that lovely assist. Hwang putting it away. Broke the hearts of Uruguay, but fantastic moment for South Korea. As the US press high, and they're just going for it, right? They're just absolutely going for it. Haji-Wright and Brendan Aronson are on. And they're going for it. Let's see if the Dutch can get in on the counter, which is why I suspect Steven Bergwijn was brought on. Okay. A lot of questions coming in. Thanks so much, everyone. Again, let's do it another time. Where are you watching from in the world? Let me know your location. It's just the World Cup, so it's great to get together and make this connection, have this community for these watch-alongs we've been doing throughout the World Cup. It's just been a lot of fun. Who do I think the best Brazilian player is? I'm going to go with best. Obviously, Neymar's a special, exceptional talent. Vini Jr., I think, has been good, and I love him. I think he's a great player for Real Madrid, Vinicius. But I actually say the most important, I'll flip it that way, is probably either Casemiro or Alisson, right? I think the way that Casemiro dictates the tempo in midfield, wins the ball back for all those great attacking players to do the business. And then Alisson in goal as well. Obviously, a phenomenal goalkeeper, one of the best in the world and not the best. So, yeah, that's who I'd go with. Who we got in the house? We've got Jonathan Lawrence in Utah, USA. Lone Wolf, Go Orange Crush. Danica and Bermuda. Wow, Bermuda's the first. Hello to Bermuda. Got Brooklyn in the house. We got Sedona, Arizona. The Vortex place. I don't know what the Vortex place is, but it sounds pretty wild. The Dutch whipping across from the right and half cleared by the US. 20 odd minutes to go. Just over 20 minutes to go, US fans. Let's see. Stephen Gallagher, New Haven, Connecticut. Bet Connecticut's lovely this time of the year, right? Just after the fall, maybe a bit of snow probably had recently. So that seems good. Michael is in Charlotte. Prism's in Chicago. Florida's in the house. Michael Brown's in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. We've got some Dutch fans getting involved. Cheeky Edits is in Georgia, USA. Andy Davis is in Texas. Go Houston Astros all the way. All right. And the Dutch have a corner with 20 minutes to go. Okay, here's a question for you out there. Who actually, we got St. Louis and we got Seattle, Washington in the house as well. Okay, so, Chicago's in the house. We got Trinidad and Tobago. We got Maryland, Japan, Miami, Florida. Wow, it's amazing. So great to all get together, right? In this setting. The Dutch have got a corner. Big Virgil's up from the back. Nathan Ake as well. Virgil van Dijk fancies it. Oh, heads it just over the bar. I think Zimmerman or Ream just got enough on the ball to put him off. It wasn't a clean header, but a good corner whipped him from the right, and Van Dijk obviously getting up there. Who do we think is the best country in the World Cup is so far? Say either France or Brazil. Obviously not Belgium. Belgium are the worst. A terrible World Cup. Probably say, the Netherlands coming on attack. Cody Gakpo has been excellent, by the way. Back to Cooper Myers. Low strike. I was about to say 3-0. Memphis Depay on the rebound. Matt Turner somehow saves it. Nearly 3-0 to the Dutch. Wow, big let off for the USA there. Strike from the edge of the box on Cooper Miners. Saved by Turner. Bounced out to Memphis Depay. Headed it. But too central. But good save by Turner. And nearly in again. This is the gaps opening up, right? Gaps are opening up now. Haji Wright's been played in and behind, but he was offside. It's quite clear there. But yeah, who do you guys think are the favourites to win the World Cup? Who are you picking? You hear from me on all my answers, so let's hear from you. Memphis Depay, by the way, would have been onside if that would have gone in because the shot came in. He was just onside, but really good reaction there from Matt Turner to save the second one. Michael Messerle says, what do I think the USA's future looks like when they get eliminated? We never know yet. There's 18 minutes left. Don't lose the faith. If they do go out, I think this World Cup will be looked at as a very positive experience overall. Defensively, so much better than they have been in recent years. Going forward, though, the real need for a number 9 is obviously key. I think Greg Berhalter has gone for a very conservative approach throughout this World Cup. Just wanting to get through, got through. I think he knew for his job security and kind of for this World Cup to be deemed a success, the US had to get to the last 16. They've done that. Come up against a very good Dutch side, as we're seeing today. No shame in losing to the Dutch side if they do lose. But I don't know if you stay with Greg Berhalter. I think it really is a flip of a coin. Do you trust him this much with this generation to do something big in the 2026 World Cup on home soil? Or US fans, what do you think? Are you Greg Berhalter out? Are you Greg Berhalter in after this tournament? I've just opened a can of worms in the comment section. I realised that as Rayner comes in down the right side, cuts inside, strikes with his left foot, and drills it about 25 yards wide of the far post. Stephen Gallagher, Morocco, sleep a bit. I like that pick, Stephen. I think Morocco might upset Spain in the last 16. That's my big tip for the knockout round so far. Who do I think is better between Mbappe and Haaland? That's like asking somebody which of their kids they love more, right? I mean, that's just ridiculous. They're both amazing. They're both the next generation. When it comes to the Messi Ronaldo debate, I'm sure we're having the Mbappe Haaland debate in 20 years from now, maybe when they come towards the end of their careers. But yeah, I'd probably go with Haaland for output, Mbappe for entertainment. Can I do that? Can I kind of say they're both very different players? But anyway, USA needs Carlo Ancelotti. Steve's just dropped that in the comments. Oh, off the line again, by the way. Haji Wright nearly getting in, rounding the goalkeeper. I couldn't see who was covering. Was it Denzel Dumfries? So Memphis Depay tried to play the ball back. Haji Wright was just ghosting in behind the Dutch defense, rounded the goalkeeper. But Denzel Dumfries cleared it off the line. So I hope for the US, 15 minutes to go. Sergino Dest is off. And DeAndre Yedlin's on. So Dest, obviously, he looked pretty shattered. He's done a really hard shift down on that right side. But it's funny seeing Memphis Depay's reaction there when he had that back pass, hand on his head. He knew he... Oh, Pulisic is in down the right. Crosses it. Haji Wright. Goal! Goal for the USA. They're back in it. 15 minutes to go. Netherlands 1. 2. USA 1. Sorry, I got too excited. This is it. 2-1. US fans going crazy in the stadium. The big comeback is on. Christian Pulisic plays in Haji Wright. Really weird finish. It was kind of a combination of flicked behind him and he flicked it and it bounced and looped up into the far corner. I have no idea how he's managed to do that or even knew what happened, but wow. He somehow flicked that in. How did he do that? 15 minutes to go. Game on. Netherlands 2, USA 1. Wow. Are we going to see a crazy comeback and go into extra time? Wow, this is incredible. In the comments, US fans, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Surely the US can't do that. The Dutch have the ball now, but this is going to be an exciting last 13, 40 minutes. Wow. How did that go in? This just really sums up the USA's World Cup so far. Just the fight, the belief. And then on the attack, Haji Wright's in. He's played for on goal. Oh, but the goalkeeper comes flying out for the Dutch and it deflects wide. What is going on in this game? What has happened to the Netherlands? They are all over the place at the back. Wow. I don't think any of us were predicting this a few minutes ago. So you can probably see the mood has gone from pretty even keel in this watch-along to all the way up here. But the Dutch have it on the counter. Memphis Depay plays it in. Steven Bergwijn. Oh, toe pokes it wide at the far post. What a last 12 minutes we have here. This is incredible. This is incredible. Joe, oh, did he really play that or was it a deflection? I don't know, Joe. I think he kind of deflected it, right? And then it came out and then looped into the top corner somehow. I have no idea how that happened. Just incredible. But the US have life with 12 minutes to go. They have a chance of taking this to extra time. That was a crazy goal, Andrea. I totally agree with you. It was like time stood still when it looked goes up. Pulisic's on the ball, driving towards the edge of the box. Left foot, low shot, straight to the goalkeeper. My goodness, this US team, they never give up, never make it easy. So the cameras cut to US fans in the crowd, getting their team going, chanting, trying to get them back into this game. This young team, they never give up, do they? Never, ever give up. Frankie de Jong has it. Denzel Dumfries. Aronson shuts him down, goes out for a Dutch throw-in, but that's what we want to see. Rick Campbell saying what we're all thinking right now. USA, USA, USA. Okay, let's get your score predictions. Oh, Xavi Simons is going to come on for the Dutch, by the way. Try and see things out. Louis van Gaal's got his notepad out. Looks very anxious watching on. Score predictions. Are the US going to do it? Are the Dutch going to see it out? Let's hear. Let's hear from you. This is bonkers right now. US are on the attack. Gio Reyna has the ball. Out wide. It's cleared for a US corner with 10 minutes to go. Surely not. Tim Ream, the American Dream, do you think he's going to pop up here and get this? Oh, my word. The US fans are going crazy in the stands, trying to drive their team towards what will be a huge equaliser. Pulisic's whipping in the corner. Ream's up. Zimmerman's up. Oh, straight into the goalkeeper's hand. Gave it the big build-up, and it was a pretty poor corner from Christian Pulisic. Prism, that's why I feel good for the future. Even though they lose, they always make a good scrap of it. You're right there. Like I said, good learning experience this World Cup. Sports fans, any fan of any team in the world will not want to hear it, but this is, look at all the teams who have done well in recent tournaments. They've had a tournament, whether it be France in 2014 at Brazil, getting together and then building for the 2018 World Cup. Dare I say England in the 2018 World Cup doing well and getting to the semi-finals. And oh, goal! That is game. Netherlands 3, USA 1. Denzel Dumfries had the freedom of the Netherlands at the back stick. Nobody marking him whatsoever. Side foot volleys in. And the US fan who's just got his hat over his head, shielding his eyes, sums it all up. He does not want to see a replay of that. Neither will Anthony Robinson. He was tucked in. Dumfries raising his arm. He was free the whole time. And it's that connection again. Daley Blind, the left wing back, now finding the right wing back to score. And the Dutch, in the first half, their second goal was the right wing back, Dumfries, finding Daley Blind to score. So they're just supplying each other. It's just the Dutch wing back game today. This is incredible. So, US fans, this is absolutely devastating. Greg Belhart has got his hands on his head. He knows that it's up. 8 minutes to go. Oh, US fans, tell me how you feel in the comment section. Oh, that is sickening. Just when it looked like they were going to make it 2-2. Wow. Just when you thought the US were back, right? Just when you thought. No shock here from Mark. Takeoff just stood there. Oh, Prism, a good run. When we made the tourney a decade ago, it was considered a fluke. Now it feels like we belonged. Yeah, let's get your thoughts on the US team and the route. Obviously now, unless there's a miracle with 7 minutes to go, they're going to be heading out of the World Cup. So let's get your overall thoughts on what this US Cup this World Cup has meant for the US and this US team. Defensively, Angela said it there, the defense, not been their best game today, has it? I think it's just been one game too many for the US. They've been caught. The early goal, really, right? The early goal just really killed it as a contest for the US, because the Netherlands could sit back and then play the game at their own tempo. Musa has to go. Have to get a better goalie. We believe. We believe. At least we made it out of the group. That's what Winston's saying. Gene says, Gene Casimir says, has Robinson played every minute? Yeah, thus far, he's been right up there with the USA's ever-present guys. And what a tournament he's had. And watch out for him with Fulham and the Premier League. Obviously, in the US, you can watch all the Premier League action on NBC Sports. Him and Tim Ream, Robinson and Ream have been two exceptional players throughout. And I think there, with all the changes going on in front of him, I think Robinson just got caught out, sucked into trying to defend the guy in the middle, who you always get taught as a defender, go to the danger, go to where you think the ball's going to go to. And the fact that Daley Blind knocked it over his head straight to Dumfries, really you'd expect maybe a winger to be tracking back there. So Aronson, another midfielder. So don't blame Robinson really on that. And right now, the US had to go for it, right, at 2-1 down. But, okay, Zach Harris says, making the round of 16 still seems to be the best we can hope for when it comes to international play. Yeah, but, a few things would have gone differently today. Could have been in the quarters, could have opened up. You never know. Joe O says, I think they almost exactly met expectations. Not sure what to think of the future prospects. Oh, they're in again. Oh, Van Dijk just nipping the ball away ahead of Haji Wright. So they're still going to the end, the US. Got 5 minutes left to go. But, Joe, I think that's fair enough. I actually had them not getting out of the group, so I think they even exceeded my expectations. And maybe that was a little bit unfair from me, based on how poorly they were playing before this World Cup. Corner comes in, Tim Ream. Zimmerman with the bicycle kick. Loops just wide. Unlucky. Good effort there. Stephen, Louis Van Gaal had the right strategy to shut down the US. I agree. You have to have the hats off here. Maybe this is down to not just the players on the pitch, but the managers on the touchline. Louis Van Gaal's got so much experience, right? So much experience over the years. And I think he's just shown that today against Greg Berhalter. And I know that in the comments and reaction afterwards, there'll be a lot of chat about Greg Berhalter, his future with the US. Is he the right man to lead them to a World Cup on home soil in 2026? Let's wait and see. But Bernie there saying US midfielders can't contain the ball. Zach Call could have done better today for the US. I think a lot of these players here today will have a few regrets, right? Just switching off at key moments when you see those goals in the first half. Early goal, then a goal right on half time. Just crucial moments, killer blows for the US. They nearly came back when it got to 2-1 from Haji Wright's goal. But yeah, just a little bit too much for them to do today. Mark says they can now focus on beating Altry and defending the Gold Cup next summer. Mark's already thinking about the future and a positive one for him. So fair play to you. Yeah, it's just a little bit of what could have been for the US, I think, with this talent that we've seen going forward. At least Haji Wright got a goal, right? Maybe he's the man going forward and he'll be the difference for the USA in attack. So many great questions, by the way. Thanks so much, everyone, for getting involved today. But in 4 years' time, the US will be much better off with this experience. I truly, truly believe that. Gio Reyna's on the ball, getting away from De Jong. Adams out wide to Robinson on the left. Back to Reyna. Dutch is sitting back very deep. Reyna driving towards the penalty box. Cuts inside. Haji Wright. Working it back out wide to Adams. Then to Robinson down the left flank. Reyna's in. Reyna's coming inside, but just Van Dijk just muscles him off. Get on the weights, son. And here comes Xavi Simons coming forward. He's got Stevie Bergwijn on his left. Bergwijn's on it. He's looking to link up with Xavi Simons again. He can look out to his right if he wants to, but the Dutch are just keeping the ball now. 2 minutes of normal time to go. Don't want to say it with this US team, but I think that is all she wrote. Let me know in the comments your man of the match, either for the US or overall. Who's been the standout player for you? I think it has to go to one of the Dutch wingbacks, right? Daley Blind, Denzel Dumfries, both getting a goal, both getting an assist for each other, which cannot remember the last time that happened in a game. For the US, I think Pulisic's been bright. Robinson's done well, apart from obviously a bit of a mishap there, with not really a mishap. It's okay. But yeah, for the Dutch as well, Gakpo and Memphis Depay, I think it's had that extra quality up top and just to hold the ball up and create chances. So Mizell says no US standouts for me. Not happy, Jesse Still. Stephen Gallagher says, Joe, thanks for the broadcast. Well done, mate. Pleasure, Stephen. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been fun today, even though the US are going to lose. I'm happy to be able to join you guys to watch it and provide a bit of analysis for sure. Andrea, odds that Dutch can beat Brazil. Yeah, you know what? Not bad. Oh, the Dutch have got a chance here. Stevie Bergwijn, is he going to make it 4? Robinson gets in with a good tackle. I think it was an offside flag was up as well. But it'll be tight. I think Argentina, Brazil, and Holland. Netherlands, I think, flip of a coin, really. Probably Brazil does have the edge, given their extra attacking talents. But don't write off the Dutch. I think they're one of these teams. They've got 3 or 4 really good players. And the rest of the team is just happy to be a team. They play as a unit. They don't have big egos. They are all pushing in the same direction. So I think that might be their key ingredient at this tournament. So let's wait and see. How much stoppage time we got coming up? Probably at least 3 or 4 minutes, right? Oh, 6. All right. Maybe a couple more. So 5 and a bit minutes for the US left to try and get back in this game as Nathan Ake clears the ball. The Dutch try and keep it. Stu and Coop, when's the next watch along? We will have some throughout the knockout rounds, just trying to figure out the schedule, but quarterfinal, semi-final, we'll have you covered, and Nick and Andy will be joining as well. 3 of us will get together and give some banter. So thanks for that comment, Stu, and we'll definitely have some more of these. Prism, Americans get down on our own team so fast as soon as something goes wrong. I feel good about this. I wouldn't want this cup to be the one we won anyway. It's a long journey we're on. Yeah, I didn't want to win it anyway, right? But you're right. There is a long journey here, building for the future. The youngest team left in the tournament at this point. I think that's probably shown today, right? A bit of naivety, a bit of just extra class. And I think that's okay. The Dutch have players at top teams at Barcelona's, Liverpool's, and other huge teams across Europe that they've done it. They're young as well, but they have a lot of experience and a lot of players from Ajax who play Champions League week in, week out. So don't get too disheartened. I think that's a really good message to take away today from the US fans is there's a flurry of substitutions late on for sure. What do we got here? A lot of comments. Zach Call, better if we win in the US anyway. Yeah, focused on 2026, right? That's the aim. Pulisic's cutting inside on the right-hand side of the penalty box. Daley Blind and Van Dijk trying to get across. Ake clears the cross, the header. And now the Dutch are trying to get on the counter. Gakpo gets the ball off Zimmerman. Tyler Adams is there to clean up. And back to Matty Turner in goal. 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes now for the US to try and get 1 goal back and give themselves a crazy finale. Jesse Still, the US just needs better talent in general. Pulisic is the best player and he's just one player. Yeah, I mean, it's all about progression and they're making the right steps. Yunus Musa's getting in down the right, pulls it back to the edge of the box. Frankie de Jong clears. You're right, but now Tyler Adams, Aronson at Leeds, Gio Reyna at Dortmund. When I look around the rest of the team, Robinson and Ream, obviously there's players playing at the top levels or have moved recently to the top flights of European soccer at a relatively young age, straight from MLS. And it's going to take time, Jesse. So don't lose the faith. I think in a few years from now, this US team will be really good. And I think the expectation levels will be higher, right? On home soil in 2026, depending what the draw is. you'd say, all right, we got to the last 16 last time. Now the minimum is probably to get to the quarterfinals. That would be deemed a good World Cup. But right now, last 16 for me is a very good World Cup for the USA. I think everyone in the comments would kind of agree with that. Jesse, I'm rooting for England now. Fair play to you. Always liked you, Jesse. Hopefully that will work out well for you and me and all of England. As a cross comes in and the Dutch clear, De Ligt's on, by the way, and they made a couple of other changes. Oh, Musa has a shot that Van Dijk blocks and spins up into the air. Tyler Adams gets it back. It's just all the US right now on the edge of the Dutch box. Got 2 minutes of stoppage time left, 94th minute. Aronson weaving past Daley Blin down the right. Daley Blin gets up, tackles it, and that just kind of sums up his performance. The veteran there's put in a sensational display, and Berhalter throws the ball back to Gio Reyna, misses Gio Reyna. In my word, maybe that sums up their connection throughout this World Cup. Anyway, not reading too much into that. Adams to Reyna. Xavi Simons cuts in. Reyna cross to the back post. DeAndre Yedlin's up there in the left wing position because, of course, Musa's now on the ball, trying to look for an opening. Back to Yedlin. Denzel Dumfries clears. And yeah, I'd probably give my man in the match to Denzel Dumfries. I think he's had a couple of good goal line clearances, defended well, set up the important second goal just before half time, and then got the third one, which is very important as well. So I'd probably go for a man in the match display from Denzel Dumfries. Just to remind you, head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest reaction from this game and all around the World Cup, analysis, video, whatever you need, we'll have you covered. But the US are now less than a minute away from bowing out of this 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Daley Blin's on the ball, plays it to Xavi Simons. He's surging. It's a 3-on-3 situation momentarily. Just scampering away. Cooperman has got the ball, plays it out, but yeah, nearly over for the US. Nearly over. Final thoughts? Anybody want any final comments to me or any final questions before the end of the game? Again, sum up your feelings, your emotions. Let me know. US fans, how you feeling? Dutch fans, how you feeling? Fair result, Bernie. I think that's fair enough. US has obviously had a really good run to the last 16. They've given it a good go today. I don't think you can't say that. The early chance for Pulisic, Tim Weah having a couple of opportunities. Haji Wright, aside from his goal after he came on. Just wonder if Haji Wright had started, would it be a different game? His physical presence seems to have unsettled Nathan Ake when he was on the pitch and Virgil van Dijk as well. Maybe that was a bit of a mishap there from Greg Berhalter starting Jesus Ferreira. But that's it. It's the full-time whistle. Game is done. The Dutch are celebrating. USA lose 3-1. They're out of the World Cup. But USA should be proud. MLS national team is on the rise. Don't worry, be happy from Barry. That's a good comment. Also, probably with a nod to Ajax's famous anthem they sing about Bob Marley as well, right? So, yeah, last 16 opponents potential for the Dutch now. We know they're going to play against either Argentina or Australia. And I don't think the US can really have any complaints about losing today. They lost to the better team, the more clinical team, the better team. And yeah, the Dutch are the first team in the last 16 of the World Cup. So last thing for me to say is, Joe's got a question here. Is Berhalter back? We're going to hear it, right? He's just grimacing there as Louis van Gaal pats him on the back. I think Berhalter will think he's done enough to be back. I don't know if US fans would agree with that, right? I think there's going to be I think he'll stay on for a little while, see how the Gold Cup goes, see how this team develops. But I don't think it's a given that he's in charge for the US at the World Cup in 2026. I think he still has a lot to prove, especially from an attacking perspective. So, Stephen, bring back Jurgen Klinsmann. Surely that's a banter comment, but fair play to you, Stephen. You made me laugh about that. Toothless attack. Joe Seaver, I'm proud of the team for sure. They gave us some great moments. Things look bright for the future. That's a good comment to finish on. I think it's easy in the moment to get caught up on losing the game, but overall, I think this is a positive step forward for the US in this World Cup. Did better than I expected, proved that some of these young players are heading in the right direction. got good experience, but just came up against a very clinical, decent Dutch team. So thanks everyone for the lovely comments in the comments. Really appreciate the positive vibes. US fans, keep the faith. Out of the World Cup, but the journey's not over for this young team. It's going to be really, really good, I think, in 2026. So thanks so much for joining me to recap. Netherlands 3, USA 1. Dutch team are celebrating. US are unhappy, but overall, better team won. They're through to the quarterfinals where they'll face either Argentina or Australia. And USA are out of the World Cup. So thanks again so much for joining me. I'm Joe Prince-Wright, the lead writer and editor of Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com. Thanks to Prism. Thanks everyone much for all your comments throughout this game. It's been a pleasure joining you. Speak to you all very soon, and head over to Pro Soccer Talk at NBCSports.com, NBC's YouTube channels, NBCSports.com. You can watch all our coverage and get involved there. You can see it on the bottom of the screen. But this has been fun, and I'll speak to you all very soon indeed. Cheers, guys.